I was born in Oakland, New Jersey, born and raised in New Jersey, and spent 21 years there. And on my 21st birthday, I said, that's enough of New Jersey. And I just packed up my little Volkswagen Bug, and I figured I'd go across country. I got to Los Gatos, California, where a buddy of mine who had been a singer in our rock and roll band was living with two beautiful California girls, one of whom was unattached. So I attached myself immediately. What started me off as an activist actually was my mother and father. The reason I have a PhD is my mother read to me in bed with her arm around me. To this day, when I read, I get that same warm feeling, even though my mother passed quite a few years ago. But my father raised us. My father was functionally illiterate. My mother got to the 8th grade, so I was the first one to go to college. Actually, I was the first one to graduate high school in the family. And my father raised us on stories of what it was like growing up in Ireland under British military occupation. He was born in 1902. During the 1916 Easter Uprising, he was a messenger boy on his bicycle for the IRA, getting shot at by British soldiers. So one day, one of the stories, the one that impacted me the most, was he's out milking the cow. There's 9 children, 1 cow. British troop truck comes along, they get out. They start shooting at him for target practice, ha ha ha, and he dives into the bushes to hide, and they kill the cow. So now there's 9 children and no milk. My father died when I was 16. 2 years later, when I was 18, my government tried to send me to Vietnam. This is 1968. The Tet Offensive had just happened. 1 million Vietnamese died, sacrificing themselves to kill Americans and make them go away. And all of those stories my father had told me about the British in Ireland clicked into my head, that I would be the British going to Ireland. You know, why would I attack a country and kill people or have them shoot at me when it's so far away, and Vietnam had no Navy or no Air Force? I was a dumb teenager and pretty conservative, but I could at least see those facts. And I thought, wait a minute, this is wrong. Global Exchange is primarily an educational nonprofit. Our job is to educate people about U.S. imperialism without using the word imperialism. How do you get people to understand we're an empire? We have 865 U.S. military bases outside of our country, over 100 bases in Japan, over 100 bases in Germany. Nobody's going to attack Japan or Germany. Those bases are institutional inertia that got built up to compete with the Soviet Union, and now there is no more Soviet communism. So what are we going to do with those military bases? And what I'm proposing, I actually have a proposal written up for this. We should start converting U.S. military bases into eco-industrial parks and eco-universities, training local people in green development skills. That would make people like us and not want to kill us. Because right now, the threat is not a Soviet tank army in Eastern Europe. That's what the U.S. military was built up to do. Now it's an individual guy with a suitcase bomb, and he wants to die. So you have no deterrent against a guy who wants to die. So we do a lot better drying up the swamp of resentment that produces the mosquitoes instead of trying to kill each mosquito with a $5 million missile. Missiles, tanks, and bombs don't work against individual terrorists. If you want a good foreign policy, you don't send military, poorly trained young men with kill machines out into cultures they know nothing about and don't speak the local language to rape the local girls, etc. You send out doctors and nurses and builders, carpenters, engineers to provide people the services they really need. There's a term that you'll hear in the green business sector called triple bottom line. And the triple bottom line is compared to the single bottom line of corporate capitalism: money, just money, profit. And the triple bottom line is social justice, the equity piece, environmental restoration, not just conservation, but restoration, because we've done so much damage, and financial sustainability, which is usually called profit, but financial sustainability. So Global Exchange, for example, we have stores, our tours, our book publishing, our events. All of those exist as enterprises that have to fund themselves. They're not funded by the mothership. In fact, they pay a tax into the mothership of Global Exchange so that we survive, you know, because you got to pay rent, you got to pay for this room and the computers and all that. And that triple bottom line works in such a way that The social piece should strengthen the environmental and financial. The environmental should strengthen the social and the financial. The financial should strengthen the social and the environmental. And it's that interplay of those three factors. It's a three-legged stool. It has a lot more stability than a single-legged stool.